everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 14. The couples all go on a couples retreat, so I'll review my couples as I normally do, and we'll see how it goes. Just too messy. I'll start off with Noi and Steve. Noi and Steve, for me, as I said last week, are a bit concerning because the problems that they're having are problems they shouldn't be having, given that their relationship started off very smoothly and they seemed to be communicating very well. And apart from the issue they had with social media, and that seemed to have gone away, and now they're back again. They're all going on about the social media stuff. At least this week, they didn't talk about Steve having a job, which I assume it's because of last week. Maybe she was satisfied. Maybe he did show her the money he had saved and the stuff, and that settled her. This week, they seem to focus more on moving in together after decision day and still going on about social media. The social media stuff is very childish for me because Noi knows, in my opinion, I think it's an ego thing for her because she knows she's wrong. Because if she wasn't sure, she would have allowed Steve to talk about it with the other couples. But I think she knew that all the other couples would side with Steve because it's wrong. And this is why she's chosen to sort of stop him from saying anything. And so he did make a valid point that you don't want me discussing this social media issue with the other couples, but you're happy to post about us online. How does that make sense? And so I think if Noi is not careful, she's going to lose a great guy. Everybody's going on about Steve not having a job. I said this from the jump, that Steve must have money, otherwise he would be out there looking for a job. And I've seen online, I know we have social media detectives saying that he's made a lot of money, he's invented something and sold it, or he's created an app or something, and so that's where he's got his income from. So I think she really needs to sit down with herself and ask herself, do I want to get married? Because he seems like a very calm and very easygoing guy. When you compare Steve to other guys on the show like Mark and Olajuwon, you have to appreciate that he's way better than what Noi could have got. So I really hope she takes her time and she sort of calms down and she helps, build their marriage, and hopefully the two of them can come to sort of an agreement of a way forward. From there, we go on to Mark and Lindsey. Mark and Lindsey, for me, they're exhausting, really. They're really exhausting in the sense that their communication skills are crap. And because of that, they're constantly arguing and fighting about silly things. They really need to learn to communicate. One of them needs to learn to listen, and the other one needs to learn to keep quiet. Because Mark just, I think, blocks out once he's reached his limit, or once Lindsey starts going on off something that he doesn't like, he just blocks it out and just keeps quiet and just sort of stops listening to her. And I think this is the main issue. If Lindsey can keep quiet just a bit, and if Mark can open his ears and actually listen, and then they can discuss whatever's going on, they might be in a better place. But because they're two people who appear to care for one another, they're willing to do anything to go above and beyond. Mark was willing to take Lindsey to the urgent care and stayed with her, made sure she was fine. And so I wish they would apply as much effort as they did in sort of figuring out their relationship and figuring out a way forward. But then, I don't know, we'll see how they go. Then we have one of what was my favorite couples from the start of the season. And I'm now 50-50 with them, because at one time I had completely sort of completely closed off to them. Jasmina and Michael, because what I found, or what I noticed this episode, is I'm a bit concerned in the sense that every time we hear about opening up, we're not being shown anything about Jasmina opening up. All we hear is Mike. They went to this medium and all we heard was about Michael. And there was nothing said about Jasmina outside of the fact that if they don't make their marriage work, then in 1.5 years' time, Jasmina would find somebody else, and Michael, it would take him 5 years. And for me, I don't see how that is helpful. And I don't see why people put a lot of emphasis on mediums, in the sense that they leave them to sort of guide their decision-making process. And so I really hope, I know Jasmina said she appreciates his efforts. I think Jasmina is warming up to Michael, and it could be because there's no other issue with them that can carry a storyline until decision day. They're going to milk this, oh, I don't feel anything when you touch me, I don't do this, I don't do that. And it's not helpful to the relationship. She's already been told, you need to stop saying that. You need to find a way to say something else. And if she keeps going on about this, I don't feel anything, it's going to be like Keith and Iris, as I said last episode, that Keith and Iris could have stayed married, but because she went on about the virginity, I think it put so much pressure on him that he ended up keeping quiet. And I can see this happening to Jasmine and Michael, because every time she goes on about, I don't feel anything, you can see him sort of pull away, and then he tries to make an effort and she sort of breaks him down. If this marriage doesn't work, as far as I can say it, no one can blame Michael for not putting an effort or making the changes that were needed to help make his marriage grow. He has tried his best to make sure that he puts his best foot forward. When she's given him feedback, he has tried to work on it. And all she keeps coming back with is this, I wish she could focus on the good parts instead of just constantly bringing up the bad parts. But then, last week we were shown Lindsey jumping out of a moving car, only for it to be cleared out today that, she was actually about to vomit, and the car actually stopped. So they seemed to be enjoying each other's company, which I can say is way better, Jasmine and Michael, than what they were doing before. So that's the positive side. They led games and stuff, and they seem to be doing well. So I wish she would just stop focusing on she's not feeling anything when he touches her, and look for ways to help their marriage grow. But then anyway, I don't know. The games that were played, I still think, given the history of couples retreats and games, they shouldn't have played those sort of games. I think they should try and play games that are not personal. When you start saying who is most likely to, that will create tension. When they were playing games outside and they were, dodgeball and stuff, they seem to get along. I wish they would play even just a normal board game, something that does not personalize, or if it's going to be personal, let the person themselves volunteer the information and let other people not appear to be picking on the person. But anyway, that's that. And then we end up with Katina and Olajuwon. I've said this from the jump that I don't understand their relationship. I feel very confused, and I don't see, I know I've seen online that they do say yes on decision day, and I don't see how, because Olajuwon comes across, Dr. Pepper was right to say he belittles his wife, and he took offense to that, and yet this time he was trying to give veiled positive affirmations. Oh, you do this great, or you do that. And it's like, is this not what you asked to do? And you say Dr. Pepper doesn't know what she's talking about? How are you doing it? And still, even in saying that, he still minimizes her efforts, because he said that, I don't want to be looking after somebody. I worked very hard. You enjoyed yourself. And then everybody comes to a decision in life at different points, as in everybody goes through certain stages, not in the same order, but there's a time for people some people start off by enjoying their lives and then deciding to go back to school, which appears to be what Katina's done, and she will eventually become professionals and, work and become more established as they progress in life. Some people will start off by having children, and then they'll still go to school and progress and become more established in life as their children grow. And some people, like Olajuwon, will just start off making sure that they're established, they have a professional career, they work very hard, they buy a house, they do this. That doesn't mean that these people, anyone is any better than the other. It's just at the end of the day, they're getting to the same destination, but they're using different routes. So the fact that he felt his wife can't have children in 2 years, and it's like, if you're a couple and you're married, what is your role in this relationship? And in my opinion, he is very self-centered, in the sense that he wants people to be doing stuff for him, and he just wants to be there nitpicking and sort of pointing out what minimizing other people's efforts, because Even when they had to cook as the guys, he sat down and didn't do anything. And yet for weeks we heard him complain about his wife not cooking, his wife not doing anything as part of her role as his wife. And yet he didn't even help the other guys when they were cooking. His wife drove him down. Yes, he drove back up on the way back. But still, everything has to be aimed at making him comfortable, and it makes you question, when do you make your wife comfortable, or when do you make your wife feel valued? But Katina doesn't seem to, to be concerned about that. She doesn't seem to bring it up. She doesn't seem to be a priority for her. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent here. I don't normally like to say anything bad about these participants because I don't know them personally, but I think Olajuwon would benefit by trying a bit more and trying to do better than he is at the moment. Anyway, I digress. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next time. Bye, everyone.